going to pretend like the name of my company wasn't mentioned because I had very strict instructions from our corporate PR. So I work for a nondescript hospitality company, just so you know. For the purpose of any folks that might be here from my company, I'm going to put you to sleep now. Here it is, George makes a job, a parable of utilizing and empowering self-service, agile synergies, to actualize operational flows. You get a cross-functional elicitation and harmonizing frameworks leveraging best-in-class and travel-based methodologies. All right, corporate folks, you can sleep now. Whereupon is knowledge by an aging former programmer and his efforts to improve his career are indistinguishable from the misadventures of an inquisitive monkey from a series of small children. Again, keep in mind this is an allegory, not based on real life. Good. This is George. He was a good little monkey and always very curious. He worked as a platform engineer at a major hospitality company unnamed, building continuous integration, continuous delivery pipelines with GitLab and Ruby. This was one of many jobs George worked that didn't quite fit. Coding was far too big to keep up with. He was always trying to cover his backside when he taught college. Writing proposals to win state IT contracts was like doing a silly dance for money. Probably still is. And other jobs like business analysts looked like one thing, but were always something else. At one of these jobs, George was called a platform engineer, but he was actually a JIRA job. He drove result-oriented initiatives. This is where he met the Matt with the yellow hat, George's senior director. He rescued George from the perilous jungle of ambiguous agency and nebulous purpose. He made George a real platform engineer for mobile tooling and remote configuration pod, which is just another name for a team. George was very grateful. There were many interesting critters in this pod who knew how to do many things. They were very smart and were experts in programming. George, however, was proud that he knew programming in Python. That pride was quickly crushed by these real coders, like the weekly type language Python is. But they were very nice and wanted to teach George everything. George tried to be excited about learning Ruby and Swift and Yaml pipelines. That all seemed very interesting and abstract. But Ruby syntax was garbage. There's no good IDE to keep up the code. And unit testing was, is, and never shall be pure treasure. On his lunch breaks, George would often explore the many possibilities of hospitality technology with the Mac with the yellow hat. There were so many interesting things about hotel technologies, like mobile virtual keys. They were very, very interesting to George. See if the door opens? They're saying so today. Hey, I can see that. There were so many things that had to happen, just so that when you touched the unlock, press that, loose to unloose, not affiliated, and you pick the hospitality company, the door actually opened. George decided to call the hotel to learn more about mobile virtual keys. I work for the hotel company, said George, which was true. He did not say what he did at that company. I am very interested in how your mobile virtual keys work, he said, which was also true. I can help you, George said. There was a fair chance this was not true. Oh, hell, thought George, I'm already in this deep. I might as well keep on digging. And so he digged deep into consonants, and he digged some more. He learned what actually happens when a million monkeys spend a million years with a million typewriters. You get a million monkey words. Any confluence get here? Anyone use it? Okay. George asked his friends to help dig, and dig still some more. You think this is bad? Said the man who had been there forever and a whole day. You should see our inheritance. Yeah, all right. But finally, George met Steve. Steve was happy someone wanted to know about mobile virtual key technology. He gave George a special encryption payload to authorize George to reprogram any door or fix any lock. In hindsight, this seems like a very bad thing for a curious George needed an official uniform so no one would ask questions, so he made one all by himself, possibly with his mother-in-law's cricket and a $3 t-shirt from Michael's. And packed some tools that looked like they could fix locks. And he said goodbye to his family and leaving his job. The day George went to the hotel, he worried that he might be called out on his BS. We have a lot of locks that need fixing, said the man at the hotel. We'll fix those locks, said another nice man, because they are all business at these hotels. But always knock 3 times before you go in and make sure nobody answers. This is very important to remember, said the nice man. George tried to remember, but his wrench was very shiny. Oh, of course, he forgot. But they were happy anyway. The nice man let George order whatever he wanted from the lunch menu at the hotel restaurant. And this was one of those hotels with a good restaurant. Even though he forgot a few things, the people at the hotel were very happy for his help. George wondered what if every day could be fun like this day. He thought he would like to have a job working with mobile virtual keys, and decided to find out how he could do just that. And then he learned that there might just be a job as a mobile virtual key product manager for a very nice director. Why do we maybe have a job opening soon, George? Said the director of Hello Guest Product Management, which is not an official name of anything, by the way. George liked her. She told funny stories and had a nice dog. Also, she knew all about mobile virtual keys and locks and how they work. Go talk to all the people who work with locks, she said, and come back and tell me what you think. George decided to do just that. First, he talked to Jerry in business intelligence. Jerry made fancy dashboards to tell the hotels what to fix. Anyone in BI here? Okay, good. That's how it works. Jerry was very excited about the idea of a product manager who knew anything all about technical things, even if it was Ruby. Next, he met Max and Jay. They did IT support level 3 for mobile virtual keys for thousands of hotels. We put out flyers. They did not look like firemen, thought George, but they probably could have been if they wanted to. But he learned a lot of our things to put down for thousands of hotels. Finally, George met Mars, the conductor of the product train for the Hello Guest mobile team. That sounded very exciting. But conductor was only a metaphor. There was no train. But there were tickets, so many. Tickets. These tickets tell the stories that make the train go, she said. As a monkey, George wanted to run away so that he could avoid the madness of Annabelle's captain. Anyone know Annabelle here? That little into it a bit. By now, George was very proud of himself. I had worked really hard. I have met a lot of people, and most of them like me. I have learned a lot of things. I can do this job very well. I bet I will get this job, he thought, as he looked into the mirror. I might even get a medal. That ever happened to anyone? All right, we're on the same track. So he waited, and he waited some more. And he checked his spam over 500 times, and nothing happened. George wondered if he should keep looking in the same place in case something that came out of it. He sat there for a very, very long time waiting. Until nothing happened. Nothing at all. Or didn't he just need to look at things in a different way? George had 5 new friends at work and 8 new friends at the hotel, and a uniform that looked legit, almost, and a fully authorized and long payload. Details exaggerated, the same of fiction. I have no great accountability and tools that can literally open doors. This is better than any job any day. And George actually believed he had a happy ending. What a silly little monkey. Just when George thought he had it made, something unexpected happened. He got a message. It was an invitation to interview for that damn job. He already knew all the people. The interviews were like conversations with old friends. Everyone wished him well. Could this be the happy ending to his job search, to his search for a perfect job? Who thinks this would be the happy ending?
Nope.
Okay. This one doesn't work in IT. Oh, he got a reorg instead. Well, shoot. Oh, George, there go all of my dreams. The next day, the man with the yellow hat took George for a ride to cheer him up. You didn't really want a job managing up with influence and no real authority, did you? That's what we call fire work. You were very curious and passionate about this kind of work, and I said, I like that. How would you like to be our first ever mobile virtual key tester? Yes. George nodded, yes, he accepted the job, which was actually just a change of job duties at his current job with no proximate salary increase. But that was okay. He had to play with things officially, within constraints. And it was more likely that the company's insurance would cover it now. Insurance is a very important thing in a large corporation. Now, I'll switch to an unrelated track. If you're a curious monkey and you want to open doors to make your own job, that's some advice that might help. Might help. Learn the systems and understand your place in them. We call this domain knowledge. As we get towards the age of whatever we're in now, AI, etc., someone that knows a lot more than their current job and knows how things work. I feel like it could be a little more valuable than anyone know where this picture's from.
No, I do not.
This is the breakfast machine for Phoebe's Big Adventure. Yes. Purpose is to do something simple with some complex thing. I think Rube Goldberg is also a term for this. Right? This is how many IT systems work. All been pre-conquered. People solve problems others don't see or that they see but they can't solve because of complex interpersonal or organizational dynamics that include common sense resolutions. Sometimes just seeing the problem doesn't help you fix it, but you'll lead to fix it. Learning people and this is an important part. I spent a lot of time on this. Especially on learning how to tag the story takes to the proper release version. People's job is to make sure that you do that. Knowing where things flow. Who's angry, happy, sad, in charge. Very important with any job that you might want to get. Also, people being happy, right? For whatever reason they're happy for. I also keep track of people in a benevolent way. There's a tool called Obsidian. I don't know if anyone's used that. Anyone can use that? It's a great tool. There's a really cool canvas for it. It's just almost a canvas for notes. You can do all kinds of cool styles and stuff. You can keep track for your own purposes of people. Put some data in there, do all kinds of cool stuff. And we'll also keep track of very important things. Like who does not like your Facebook posts? It's very important to know that something she doesn't, especially when you get in college. Around midnight on Friday. And also, who does not get along with who? This is very useful information. I think anyone looking for a job or looking to get along in their regular job should keep one of these systems, possibly on their own computer. See it. It's important to have cues, right? And also ask everyone their story because you will get ideas and build consensus. This is an idea we're just getting for. Here's the idea, a mobile app feature that will let a monkey open the door, which sounds fantastic, doesn't it? Who wouldn't want a monkey to open their doors? Or anyone would want that? Internet ethical situation we're talking. Okay. But I should disclaim also, unless you know everyone very well, it is recommended to sit in your own chair. All right. This is a point of some controversy. So if you tell your manager you want a different job, or you don't like what you're doing, I think you can say, if you have a good manager, you may consider someone. A good manager is someone who can help you figure things out. Like what tools you need and how to get them, and how to make your ideas come true. If you have a value proposition. This part is very important. You can invent a job that you think everyone needs, but if you don't have a way of talking about its value to the company, you may never get there. To do that, you should, in the abstract, find out what your company needs and how they measure it. If they measure it, if not, you can't get a metric, make one up. There are lots of good metrics out there being made up. Since the age of spreadsheets, we've been able to quantify those things. Also, one thing that I've done is, actually, is there anyone here who has good documentation at their company? All right, good. There's lots of opportunities, we like to say. One of the things that I did is I built a glossary. It's an automatic magical thing. And I showed just some subjects that are general purpose subjects. And I created a glossary with digital mobile key space and the analytic space. So that people that even have this as their regular job can find out what the terms mean. So even people that do things every day sometimes have a struggle for awareness on how to explain things to others. This has taken off a lot. So you can create value even if you don't know something by taking what you've learned and then sharing it back with the company. Very powerful thing. Also, I like to visualize things and explain how things work. This is a visualization of my glossary. A little abstract. Not everyone appreciates the imagery, the animation, but even just having a simple picture of how things work, very powerful. And this can make friends. Possibly enemies too. But be prepared for when you screw up. You will screw up. You'll have lots of ideas that are questionable in quality and propriety. For example, the mobile app that is arm wrestling theme, where it's people over the top, possibly if you're in one of the hotels at your company, you might own. Also, the digital monkey feature, we can see where it might go wrong in the troubleshooting phase. And I came up with a way to represent one of our setting systems, and someone pointed out what the octopus is doing in the phone doesn't seem very appropriate. And I realized, golly, it's good that I have someone review these things before I show them to my boss. You may also include lots of drafts and ones you edit or save. Digital systems might have done. Interesting story. Aaron, the key adjacent reliable expert navigator. I showed that to one of the support folks as a joke and left the meeting. And unfortunately, I was was serious, and I told Karen. So he may have explained things you should in advance, which is why it's important to boost AI. Very good to talk about. AI can help you invent all kinds of things, right? Be very careful with this. AI can make things look very plausible. For example, the student stay experience, an app feature that will let you enter in an unoccupied room if you have a bad emergency anywhere in the hotel. Sounds like a good idea, right? No. Okay. And doesn't work in housing very well, but it looks like it's happening, right? AI can make things look great, look real. Hudson happy house. I'm not sure what that concept was there. I forget a plan possibly to rent your deck or hotel space for events. Right? You have a lease on a room for a day. Why not share it out and make a couple extra dollars? Not a very popular idea with the company. And last few rounds, despite everyone claiming it had absolute utility, there are some possible legal barriers there. Nonetheless, AI can make you look very credible, very serious, very crazy, very fast. Use caution. Which is why, please, have someone you are using before it's too late. You might call this person a mentor, unless they require positive deniability of something they know you do. So it helps. It's wise to find a few people that you can show things to before you show them the people you shouldn't. And watch out for social media. And let's say George's enthusiasm to prove that he can do this job. You might have created a social media account. You might have encouraged folks in unofficial channels, work with hotels, to ask him if they needed help with things, if their business needed help with. Even though George didn't technically violate any social media policies, he still used the phone till 11:30 on a Friday night. From someone identifying himself as a high-level executive at his company, it turned out to not be a prank phone call at all. So, my advice, George's advice, if you're pursuing a job, taking chances and doing things, I would avoid social media, even though it's a rich and fruitful, let's say, place where people can report problems. Sure. Now, some unrelated pictures of adventures that a real person might have had to perhaps validate the experience in the cartoon, maybe not. Handsome fellow, I don't know who he is. Looks a little bit like him, I think. I'm sure he's trying to match the property. Oh. Looks like a battery change. So, that's all I have. Now, happy to take any questions to see if any of my experience is anybody else who's curious and likes to take a risk to see if they can take a chance at their job. Yes?
It's good, thank you. I think a lot of us will identify with the current technical challenges, political challenges, communication challenges. So sometimes such challenges are useful, forming us into stronger, powerful people, and sometimes the challenges are endemic to a system that's not going to change. Life is short, we should get out, right?
Yes.
Two extremes. How do you navigate that balance? When am I the one that's supposed to be learning from this situation? When am I able to change the situation, and when do I take it out?
All right, well, I'm going to answer your question in one word poorly.
Okay.
For a long time, I was changing jobs every time I got picked off, or every time I saw a challenge that I couldn't meet. And it's very possible that those challenges could not have been met. I certainly could have met them with a little more finesse. One of the things I've really been practicing is reframing, right? Basically tricking yourself into thinking, all right, this isn't so bad, I don't really want to harm you, pull that person, this is not impossible. I still get easy. I would say feelings that like this isn't going to change. But I have found some cases, in fact, this case here, where you might have a mentor in the company who can help you, right? Finding that person really helps. The Matt Lee, all of that, whoever he is, if you can connect with someone that's higher up in the organization, I've had a lot of luck asking people, how have you succeeded here? Especially when I can, right? When I know I have the answer. I know it's the right thing to do, and I know it'll work. When I absolutely know it'll work. And the truth is, I guess the punchline test is always, but then you find out you were wrong. But no, you might be absolutely right. And I had a mentor, a VP, tell me, when you're sure you're absolutely right, one, you are right. Two, you still might not be able to do it. So finding someone that can help you and guide you in the ways to do things at a company is important. Also, you may have to trust someone else to carry your message for you. I forget where it came from, but there's a joke, only Nixon could go to China. Right? So sometimes it takes someone else to take your work forward. And I think that's a real powerful thing. Otherwise, honestly, finding ways to keep yourself calm when you're ticked off very much helps. And this job market's tight. I mean, I can't afford to do what I used to do, is just get pissed off, call the recruiter, and then in 20 minutes, hey, I have another crappy coding job. I did it for a long time. This is the first place that I really stuck around for a while. So, and I think the last thing I would say is find ways to engage yourself that don't put all of your hopes and energy on one thing, which is hard to do. If you're working on a project and it fails because of dumb reasons, someone doesn't listen, it's really hard for me to shake myself out of that. This was my identity for the last month. So I try and diversify when I can. I'll go out and try and do something hands-on on top of it. So I guess there's a lot of ways to maybe not guarantee a solution, but to make yourself feel better and keep yourself motivated. I think that's a great question.
I think you said something interesting there. You said, this was my identity for the last month. You know, how much we can self-identify with these roles and responsibilities gets to a point where, you know, it engenders that loyalty and dedication. And sometimes you have to break out of it and do the reverse to change the situation that you're in. And I find that challenging.
You know, and I tend to get absorbed in things that I do. I want to solve problems. I am curious. The hospitality industry is interesting. It's not like health insurance when I worked there before. I couldn't understand a darn thing that was happening. This is like, wow, there's rooms and beds and lots and things like that. Everything makes sense on a technical level. You can see the Rube Goldberg machine and see what happens. You push a button and it says, well, your door mostly opens, right? So it gets me really excited. And it's hard to take that excitement when other people don't have the same energy or don't have the same appreciation for me being right. Right? But one thing that saved me, and it's really interesting, I occasionally have gaps where I don't check my reviewers first. Maybe do something maybe I shouldn't do, right? My director, he said to me a bunch of times, he said, Rob, because you're curious and you seem to have good intentions and you care, because you give a shit, I'm going to forgive this and help you get to the next thing that you're with me. Because most of the people here don't seem to care. So I don't know if that's unique to this place. I got really lucky, but he seems to appreciate that I care, even if I'm a little bit extra curious sometimes. So it's okay to care about your job. I know it's not for everyone, but it's hard for me to do something for 8 hours a day that I don't have some investment in. So, any other questions?
We've got plenty of time.
This is either going to go a lot or a little. Yeah, and in terms of, there's something that I was going to bring up too. I had extra slides. But, one of the ways that I keep myself interested in the job is by automating things. Like, for example, making Jira tickets, Python, confluence things. If I'm not always thinking of a way to make things more interesting or faster for myself, it's hard for me to function. There are times where I'm waiting for someone to make a decision. I'm sitting in a meeting, I'm bored to death. I can work on this little side thing, the glossary. The other thing, I can get other people involved. That really helps. And some of that stuff, you can take stuff somewhere else, right? I mean, I used to think I always have one foot out the door. Now I don't think about that as much because it keeps me focused on what I'm doing. But yeah, you know, think at all times. If you had to leave today for any reason, you know, even if you have the greatest job in the world, the greatest managers, the greatest company, the greatest work, you can still get out of a job, right? So I'm always thinking about how I can apply what I'm doing to some general thing. Maybe make a story out of it, some way to keep my own personal, I hate to say personal brand, but you know, keep myself first, right? At the end of the day, the hospitality companies, you know, they might go away. We have a situation right now where I thought hospitality would always be high, but the economics have been strange. They're I'd encourage people to always keep, not a foot out the door, but their mind on what might be next and how you might showcase that. And it's tough. You can't always build your portfolio, right? You can always be thinking, if I had to tell someone else about what I did here, how would I show them? And there are ways, I think, to do that. As long as you get all the logos off properly. It's very important.
Don't worry about my introduction, we'll cut all that.
That's fine.
Yep.
I followed the letter of the law. You people didn't. You hear that? No. Yes.
So if you were policy, did you get advice or help or direction regarding that? Did you ever approach the local commerce groups if you stumbled through any of that as well? Because it sounds like you have a lot of support.
Oddly enough, this is all within the company. I'm really blessed to be at a company that has a lot of people that are very smart. And I'm sure that happens a lot of places, but this place, I don't know if it's hospitality or what, there's a lot of people that are exceptionally willing to answer questions. It's almost amazing. I mean, I have a question, I find out Bob's in charge of this. I hit Bob on Teams, and I'm always so surprised within 10 minutes, Bob or someone else, that they get back to you. People are really eager to help, and that makes me this kind of environment, but it's a very good thing. But no, I have dabbled in LLC, but I probably still have one. I should think about that for next time, but this has all been, oddly enough, within a full-time role. Yeah, and of course, I should put a plug into the tech line, I think it's going to be because I get to come and share and practice and talk about things. And I think it's important to be able to talk about things outside of work. Maybe not to your loved ones or relatives constantly like I have. You know, being able to articulate what you can do and talk about things, that's the way that I can think through problems. So I tend to think about things a lot outside of work, but if I can make it a positive thing or an interesting thing, it helps. Yes.
Maybe you answered this in your presentation, or maybe I missed it, but it sounds like you're in a very good environment for you now. Do you think, and you went through some sort of change where you always had like your foot? Yes. Do you think that was it this new place that you landed that was instrumental in that, or was it like a change that you made personally?
That's a good question. I've actually been thinking about that because I think a lot of the environments I was in were toxic. There's a lot of toxic places. I mean, when I started to take my own personal accountability for it, I started thinking about how reactive I was. And I think a lot of times, even the toxic things, I was ready to get out. Always ready to get out. And I never paused to stop and take the risk of staying. So in this job, I spent a lot of time reframing, right? Thinking about things, talking to people, trying to make sure, absolutely sure that I'm right about a place, and that I'm right about what to do about it. You can hate a toxic place, but maybe if you could chill out a little bit, there might be things to do there that would be good. You know, I've had bad managers in companies and kiss it dead. I mean, I'd be out, you know, see it. But I didn't know how to navigate that, and some of these new environments too. It's hard. I've had to go talk to upper management about other managers at times, and that, I mean, to me, it's the minute I would have to talk to someone about another manager, my experience taught me, I'm out of here. I don't know why I'm doing this, it's stupid. I should just probably, you know, do the nice thing, great opportunity, but, you know, I started to think more of risk. I'm going to tell them what's going on in my mind. Maybe 9 times out of 10 that would fail, but I've had some unusual successes trying to be open-minded about things. Back and forth. It's like, am I open-minded, or am I being, you know, someone you kick around? So I always fight with that. So, but I really think, I think this is a good blend of attitude change in the right place. But no place is great and perfect. This journey, funny and amusing. There are some times where obviously this sucks. I want to get the hell out of here. I'm going to get fired. What am I doing? Changing locks at a place and changing batteries. This is insane. But sometimes I like it. Hey, great job. Sometimes it was like, Rob, please go post it on your monitor saying, I don't have anything to embarrass my director. It's better than everything else. But no, I credit most of that down and attitude and really trying to get the best out of things. But it's tough, right? And I wouldn't criticize anybody for making that choice. It's a hard one, especially now, right? Thank you. Sure. Anybody else? Thank you very much. I hope, super entertaining things to do.